Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod for the Legrand called the Legrand Buggy Sport. Yeah, the Legrand, it doesn't have a D at the end of it, but the Legrand Buggy Sport does have a D. So we have two versions, the Sport Edition and the Regular Edition. The Regular Edition is more for off-roading, the Sport Edition is more for paved roads. I want to do the off-road one first, so we're going to go and spawn that up. And then I also want to grab a regular Legrand and spawn that, so we can compare the Buggy Legrand to the regular Legrand. And when we look at these two vehicles side by side, they actually look pretty different. That's because the Legrand Buggy just takes a few parts from the Legrand, but all the stuff you see above is all new. So like this whole Buggy setup right here is all new parts, and it's not the same shape as the regular Legrand. So on this one, you can see the shape goes pretty much straight down right above the wheel. But then if we go to this one, you see it's much more angular. So it's not like it's shaped like the Legrand either. But if we go under the vehicle, you can see the similarities right here. So you see this whole middle section between the two wheels, that is the same. Although you'll notice the one on the Buggy has been chopped up a little bit and it's missing the trunk area. But the suspension is also the same. So if we take a look, this thing has a pretty unique suspension setup compared to a lot of the vehicles we see in this game for buggies. But if we go over to the regular Legrand, you'll notice it has that setup because that's what the Legrand had, and it's just reusing the parts from that. Same goes for the front suspension, although the regular Legrand does not have that massive radiator. This thing has like a little itty bitty radiator. Watch, look. Whoa! Look at that itty bitty radiator compared to that humongous radiator. So anyways, let's go ahead and drive this thing around a little bit. Since we have the off-road version, we gotta go ahead and do some off-roading with it. I just gotta find a good spot to go up the road. That might be a little too steep, so we'll keep along the paved roads just for a little bit longer. And one fun thing you can do with this thing while we're on the paved roads actually is you can do this. You can really bounce that back end about. And it's just fun watching the springs compress and decompress as you accelerate. I like watching that at least. Oh, there's a good spot to go up, 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 up. Time to off-road. Can we go through that tree? Kind of. We kind of got booped around, but we're okay. I don't want to try to climb those rocks just yet. I want to just drive around a bit, cruise along, see how this thing does, just doing stuff like that. Little jumps, a little bit bigger jumps, bouncing all over the place. We're good, we're good. All right, so this Buggy is holding up decently well. I think I just ruined the front left suspension, actually. Yeah, it is not obeying anything I tell it to do. We can still accelerate, though, and put power down, so we'll keep flying until we crash. And there's the crash, and hey, we're actually stuck in the tree. That I did not foresee. All right, bring it back just a little bit to get it back into the dirt, and then we'll keep driving in a different direction now that I have steering again. So we'll go this way, and then full speed ahead. See how well it can do, just flooring it right here, and well, actually we're not going too fast, so it's doing pretty good. Oh, that was an awkward landing, and there goes the wing. Also, you probably noticed the wing is missing its textures. That is not a game glitch on my part. That is a known issue from the developer, so in the future it'll probably be fixed if there's an update to this thing, but as of right now, that's just the way it looks. Also, while we're talking about color, this thing is black and black only. You cannot change the color on this thing even if you try. Well, I mean, I guess you could really try and modify the vehicle to make the color changes work, but I mean, if you do it in-game, it's not going to happen. The wing is slightly falling off here, which messes up my downforce. It doesn't drive straight anymore, or it's because the front suspension is ruined. Don't know which. Probably the wing. Now it's going to drive straight, right? Well, it would if it wasn't actually just broken. All right, we'll reset one more time and drive around a little bit more. Once it breaks again, then we'll go ahead and stop trying all this off-roading. Maybe we'll try out the on-road version. That right there was a nice, clean jump. Suspension did its job really well. This one, I don't know. We're okay, we're okay. I thought that was going to break something. I don't think it did. No, we're good. That's going to break something, though. No, it's not. How did that happen? That was a miracle. Although the front is a little dented up on the radiator, it's not exactly squared off anymore. Still drivable, though, for now. Oh, that's not going to be drivable. We just lost the wheel. All right, so let's bring this thing all the way back to where we started. And then let's do a little bit of paved road driving with this. And we'll try out the more sporty edition for the paved roads. But I wanted to see how well it does. I mean, this is a pretty bumpy road, actually. So this one might work a little bit better because it has a little bit more suspension travel and stuff. So it doesn't bounce around too much and bottom out potentially. Yeah, working great. Working great. Except I'm sliding all over the place. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Drift, 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 drift. Drift! It's okay. We have an off-road vehicle. We could do this. We have a Buggy. This is fine. Actually, this is probably the perfect road for it right here. The dirt road. It's bumpy, but not too dangerous where it'll damage itself or anything like that unless you go up on the corner like that. You do have to watch out for the corners like that. because if the wheel's sticking out outside of the body of the vehicle, it's real easy to get them caught on something and destroying the vehicle. That's the one thing you gotta watch out for. Otherwise, though, nothing should be able to harm this thing. Oh no! Oh! I got scared. I got really scared. I thought I was gonna hit a tree. I just didn't want to hit the tree. That time I did hit the tree, didn't I? It's okay. We only hit it with the suspension bits, it looked like. Maybe there... Actually, does the suspension stick out more, or does that rear wing stick out more? Looks like the rear wing sticks out more, so we might have hit it with the rear wing. Doesn't matter, though. Everything is driving fine. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah, you're doing good, car. You don't worry about it. You're doing fine. You can bounce as much as you want. I have a feeling this thing bounces a little bit more than other buggies because of the type of rear suspension it has. It is still perfectly usable, but I do feel like it's just a little bit more bouncy than you would expect on this road. There we go. Made it all the way through. Don't touch the water. Let's go back to that paved road. Should be like right up here. Kind of a steep path, but I believe in this thing. Here we go. Whoop. And perfect landing. I nailed that landing, except the rear suspension blew out because it's not that durable, I guess. Can still put down power. Although I think nothing can stop this thing from putting down power. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. We'll see how well it does in this bumpy terrain. If it's too bumpy, we'll go to a different map. So we're going to use the Sport Edition, which has much sportier tires. And you can see there's color options, but as I said, the color options unfortunately do absolutely nothing at this point. Also, the vehicle does come with nitrous by default, but I just haven't felt the need for it yet. It's fast enough, it feels like. Like, watch this, okay? So we're going to do like just kind of a 0 to 60 test right here, flooring it. And we are at 60 miles per hour. That was not long at all. Although that might not have been the best place to do a speed test. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it around that corner. Oh, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Oh, remember what I was mentioning earlier about how easy it is to lose a wheel? Yeah, that right there is what I was talking about, because we just kind of clipped something instead of maybe losing a fender. Now we just lose a whole wheel. And we can kind of drive with just one wheel missing. Well, not really. I'm just out of control. I can move, just not in the direction I want. With 4 wheels, I can go the direction I want, but it still takes 2 maneuvers to do that. I guess I probably could have went through the dirt right there since we do have a buggy, but this one has like really slick tires on it. Those kind of tires would not enjoy going on the dirt. It likes being on the road, which is a dirty road that has dirt on it anyway, so really not the best environment for this car now that I think about it. We should probably take this thing to Hirochi Raceway in a minute and see how it does there, but for now, let's go ahead and do a crash into the Legrand. We should be coming up onto it any moment now. I just see it off in the distance. And here comes the impact. Got a little bit of slow-mo right here. Just looking at the fronts. Looks like the regular Legrand deformed a bit more than the buggy because the buggy is so strong and reinforced. Yeah, like there's a little bit of encroachment to the engine, but not too bad. And then looking at the regular Legrand, lots of encroachment into the engine bay. It did not fare as well. Anyways, let's go ahead and change maps up to Hirochi Raceway just like I promised and see how it does on a more solid surface. I should have clicked to start the starting line, but it really doesn't matter, I guess. In the end, we're still going to be driving on the exact same track. We're just starting at a slightly different location. So we're going to go ahead and grab the exact same one we were driving. And this time we'll go ahead and try using the nitrous. See how well it does if I can find my mouse. There we go. All right, nitrous is ready. You can tell. The second we hit it, you just see nitrous ready to go. So this nitrous kicks in. It looks like at about 4,000 RPM when you floor it. Could be a little bit off from that because it's a little bit hard to tell because I'm also sliding all over the place while I'm trying to do it. But it kicks in pretty easily. So the nitrous should give you a good speed boost in pretty much any situation, I would think. It doesn't feel like it's a real punchy load of nitrous where you just feel it kicking in like it's a big turbo kicking in or anything like that. It just gives you a bit more power and it just makes everything a little bit faster. And to me, that kind of nitrous setup's a lot more useful on a track like this versus doing the off-roading one. Because when you're doing the off-roading, you're bouncing all over the place so much anyways, you're not really flooring it enough to actually make use of the nitrous. But on a track like this, you're flooring it all the time. So you can really easily just be in the power range for the nitrous and gaining its benefits. Going a little too fast in that corner. I swear I almost looked like the rear end lifted up for a second as we went through that. That was kind of funny. Yeah, the rear end suspension on this thing is not very sporty at all. I've said it a few times, but it does not really like doing things. And that just ruined it. I was too busy watching the suspension, I guess, or just driving poorly. So there's a look at the damage real quickly. And I want to try to do some more damage to this thing, so we're going to reset it. And we're just going to go over to these mountains and try to jump them mountains and see how much damage we could do doing that. I'm sure it'll do a pretty good amount. We're going about 60 miles per hour, although we don't have the one that's really made for jumping. And he lost 2 wheels doing that. Got 1 wheel left that'll move, so we're going to do a 1 wheel burnout. Yeah, look at that. Nice smoke screen. Except we're not even moving. That's like the laziest burnout ever. I want to change maps for a little bit more of crash testing. So on to grid map. First thing I want to do is a jump test. So for the jump test, it's a nice idea to have the more off-road version of the buggy. And then the jump's right over here. We got those 3 ramps. We're going to take the middle one and try to land it as smoothly as we can. Let's see how smooth it goes. Not that smooth. Actually, that's not bad. We lost the wing, unfortunately, but I don't think we did too much damage to the vehicle itself. It's still driving pretty straight. I'm happy with that. Now let's do high speed impact into the wall. It's going to be about 115 miles per hour and smush. Ooh, wow. That roll cage held up real nicely, actually. There is still a good shape to it where if there was a person in there, they would have been squished. They would have had a lot of G's, but they wouldn't have been squished. Makes me want to test just how strong is this roll cage. So to do that, we're going to go to the ramp over here and we're going to try to jump in a way where it'll land on its roof. We'll just kind of roll it like that. And where's it going to land? Perfect, right on the roof. So we get a good look at how much damage that does. Put it onto the right side. Oops. I damaged it a little bit picking it up. I didn't realize my node grabber was at such strength. Overall, it looks like the roll cage did a really good job of holding up right there. If there was a driver in there and they had like a Hans device on them, they would have probably been pretty good after all that. So that's nice to see. I think next we're going to do a little bit of impact testing. So park this guy right here. And then we're going to smash into him with a T-Series. We're going to do T-Series bed upfit, so it has a lot of weight to it. This is like 20,000 pounds, I think it is. I could have just read the number, I know, but I didn't. Pretty sure it was around 20,000 pounds though. We'll teleport it over to here. And we're just going to drive right into them. They're not going to move at all. They're going to be perfectly stationary. In fact, I'm even going to put the parking brake on to make them as stationary as they possibly can be. So parking brake enabled. And then here we come with the big hit. We're going to be going at least 40 miles per hour right here. So it's going to be close to highway speeds for a car like this. And then here we go for the impact. Not bad at all. That was actually really, really good. Gotta get this thing to come to a stop though. It takes a second because there's so much weight. So we'll go to full speed right now and then we'll bring this thing back to where it was so you can take a closer look at the car. So even the wing somehow stayed on. We do have some deformation in the front, but the passenger's roll cage held up very, very well. It's also worth pointing out the gauges on this thing are the same ones that we have in the normal car, I'm pretty sure. Same with all the stuff over here. I didn't do any comparison, but it makes sense. Why would it be any different, right? There's no reason for it not to be. It even has a high beams light, but well, one problem about this thing is there are no lights at all. Like you do not want to drive this during nighttime because you won't be able to see anything if you're doing it on like off-road areas where you're going to have no lights except for like the moon and the stars. I don't want to do that. Here's what I do want to do. I want to test to see kind of how the suspension holds up to doing off-road maneuvers, you know, like sliding and landing at the same time, those kinds of things. So we're going to just slide into them mountains right here. And that's what I want to see. Just kind of stuff like that. How does the suspension hold up there? Looks like it did pretty well. Oh, I just heard a braking noise and it looks like the front right wheel is no longer responding. So not the most durable for the suspension right there because it wasn't like that big of a thing. So we'll go ahead and reset this thing and try a couple more things. So how about we do a quick suspension test right here? Whoop, that looks okay, yeah. It's not doing as great as I would hope a buggy's doing, but it's doing decently enough. Like, if this was a normal car, it would be doing excellent. But since it's an off-road vehicle, it's just doing okay. How about we do one more roll cage test? We're going to try to go up on this ramp and land on the roof, which I'm pretty good at, actually. It seems like I almost always can land on the roof. Let's see if that's the case. Yep, perfectly on the roof. Can we get it to go upright? Not on its own. We're going to have to give it a little bit of help. I'll just grab this part and flip it. And look at that. It actually looks a little bit more sporty now. That's funny. It looks like it's just lower to the ground. Like it's a bullide height vehicle now, where the other one was just a little bit taller, more like the height of a Legrand. Unfortunately, we do not have much drivability with its current state. The rear suspension is just totally blown to bits. So let's go ahead and finish things up with the finishers. By the finishers, I mean brutal slope. And then afterwards, we'll do leap of death. My favorite way to spawn up a vehicle here is you start backing it up, and then you go to the vehicle selector and pick the vehicle, and you hit respawn vehicle right when you think it should be at the right spot. So I think it's right here and perfectly placed. We can just drive right down this, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the nitrous on so we can go a little bit faster. Don't know if it'll make a significant difference because we're going to be going well past the vehicle's top speed, I would think. How many gears this thing got, though? It's at fifth gear, which is geared to like 200 miles per hour. And that's the top gear. Okay, so it's only a 5-speed transmission. We're going to be going about 250 miles per hour at impact, which is a very decent speed. Actually, 260. So we'll do slow-mo, maybe a little too soon. There's slow-mo, and there's going to be nothing left of this thing. Even with the roll cage, it is not strong enough to hold up to a 260 mile per hour impact. And we basically have a ball of metal right here that you would never guess was a vehicle of some sorts. And then you have a few tires bouncing all over the place. So now, time for Leap of Death. And I want to make sure I go to the top. And seeing how this thing deforms, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to do a full speed impact, and that's it. I'm not going to bother with the slow-mo, because the slow-mo is nice when you have like parts flying all over the place and stuff like that, so you can really see it happening. When you just have a roll cage, there's really not much to look at. It's like, yeah, it deforms and you can see it in slow motion, but it just doesn't feel like it's worth the time, you know? It's more fun just to see it in full speed and see what happens. So here it is in full speed. Good camera angle for that. Lots of deformation as expected. The wing fell off. The engine is completely dead. Kind of funnily though, the nitrous is still on the car, and well, I was gonna say, and one wheel is on the car, but it just fell off, so no wheels are on the car now. So it's just gonna fall to its death into the water, and that'll do it for this video. So until next time, this has been WhyBeAre, completely destroying roll cages on buggies. I'll see ya. Wait, what was that? I just heard a crashing noise. That was weird.